So the right thing to do at this point is to take the caliper off. But we do not do the right thing. So we're just gonna half it, and then tomorrow I'm gonna deal with it.
Welcome back to Modifications. So I recently came back to the NC Miata world with my Nordic Green 2006 soft top Miata. And like a lot of you who are buying these things, I'm diving deep into modding it. If you haven't seen my first video, go check it out, as I did a lot of small maintenance and upgrades to it already. In this episode, we're going to cover some of the aesthetics and suspension upgrades, such as taillight tint, coilovers, wheels and tires, fender rolling, and height adjustment. I'll talk about what I bought, why I bought it, how much I paid, and some quick install notes. So let's go ahead and get started. If you've known or followed me for a while, I used to have a Court & Miller supercharged 2013 NC Miata Club, with lots of things done to it. One of my favorite small aesthetic mods was tinting the taillights red. I'm now replicating the same mod onto my green Miata, as I think the red would look great on the green. I also just don't like the chrome look of the OEM taillight. This time, I purchased this from Lamin-X, who makes pre-cut vinyl in multiple colors. It's a full kit, and it comes with everything that you need to install it. I do want to start off with the fact that I absolutely hate installing wrap or tint or anything like that. It requires a lot of patience, skill, accuracy, and I just don't have those. But because I've done it before, I figured I'd try it again. Eventually, I got desperate and I just put it on the best I could. So now we're going to check out the results.
Okay, so this has to be one of the worst jobs I've ever done of installing this. I was getting torn up by mosquitoes and getting really annoyed. This is one of those situations where everything looks good from afar, but it's far from looking good. So, from far away, you won't be able to tell too much. It actually looks like the install job's okay, but wait till you see how bad this is. Yeah, that's horrible. So I'm actually going to get this redone professionally, because this film from Lamin-X is not cheap, and I don't want to do it again. So I'm just going to have a shop do it. But for now, I'll leave it because, at least from far away, it looks good. It's pretty crappy up close.
Next up is tinting the fog lights yellow. I love this look. I've done it on a lot of cars and I just love the little pop that a yellow fog light adds. So let me show you what I used and how I did it.
This one's already off, super easy to get off. Basically it's just 3 screws, the bottom screw and then 2 regular Phillips. And then you unplug the harness and then you pull it out. Super easy. There's the broken one that I took out from right there. It's crazy how that's broken and the bumper looks okay. I must have hit it directly on. So I'm going to be painting these yellow, and here's my replacement from eBay.
Personally, I think the front looks a lot better. It's such a small little mod, but I do like the break it gives the front. Now that the car is starting to look the part, it was time to do my favorite mod, and that's suspension upgrades. I started with coilovers, and mostly it's because they fix one of the weakest points of this NC Miata, the bubbly suspension. Previously, I used to have the Tein Flex Z's, as my car was a canyon carver mostly. After I drove Jordan from Flywheel Films' car with Meister R's on it, I vowed that I would get those in my next Miata. However, I did end up pulling the trigger on another set of Tein Flex Z's, mostly because I got them very cheap from Facebook Marketplace. Are they the best? No. The Meisters definitely feel a little bit more planted and better for daily street use, but I couldn't resist the price that I got on these, which was well under $500. These can be had new for between $700 to $800, and I used Jordan's video to help me install these. And honestly, this is one of the easiest cars to install suspension in. If you have some basic car knowledge and tools, this can be completed in 2 to 3 hours. Stay tuned for a full review of my Tein Flex. Now that the car is lowered, it's time to get rid of the stock wheels and get something that fits the look I'm looking for. I'm a sucker for bronze and gold wheels. It's just a look that works on almost anything. I actually had bronze Avid AV20 wheels on my old Miata and I loved them. I also really like these wheels because they're affordable, they're relatively light, and they come in really good fitment. And they also have a spoke design that makes them look more concave than they are. I've actually had 2 other sets of Avid wheels on my Miata. I used them for the winter and I used them for an extra setup. I even have those wheels on my EV6, just a different model. Needless to say, I got the exact same wheels this time and the exact same summer tires that I had before. As for tires, I got Firestone Fire Indy500s, which have been a really great tire for street use. It's a summer tire, so it kind of sucks under 55 degrees, but it sticks well and is responsive, sharp, and relatively affordable. I always go with 215/45/17 on this setup because to me it's the right amount of rubber to wheel ratio. It doesn't look too thick and it doesn't look like a rubber band. As for the TPMS sensors, I just ordered some on Amazon instead of taking the ones off the wheels and tires that came with the car, and they work just fine and they're relatively cheap, so go get those. The car's lowered and the wheels are on, it's definitely time to adjust the height and roll the fenders. With an offset of +35 and an 8-inch width, and the drop that I wanted, I had to mildly roll the fenders on my last Miata, so I knew I would have to do it again because it's the same setup. If you do not plan on dropping the car a lot, you could potentially get away with not rolling your fenders, but since I had access to a fender roller, I went ahead and did it. We also took this opportunity to lower the car height and adjust everything. Special shout out to my friend Barry.
They come loose?
Yep.
All right.
So raise this collar. There's a lot of videos out about this.
Sure.
Raise this collar, move it up, and then rotate the whole assembly to get back down.
Never mind.
Gotta tighten this.
You okay?
Fudge. Yeah. All right, so here is the drop. I didn't measure it, but it looks good. I go off visuals, but that looks really good. I think any lower, and I don't know, I need negative camber before I go lower. So the rear could use a little bit more because now it looks very raked, but we'll do that here in a second when we start rolling the fenders.
You got your F-Class license, fender rolling?
Alright, so this is the problem we ran into, is this. So the right thing to do at this point is to take the caliper off, but we do not do the right thing. So we're just gonna half-ass it, and then tomorrow I'm gonna deal with it.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's almost like an ASMR video.
Yes. With me grunting.
That's a different kind of channel. OnlyFans.
That's the OnlyFans
Yeah.
modification.
Could you imagine the tags on that video?
Can you imagine the dudes watching that?
And there you have it. Decent progress in a couple months of ownership, and it's starting to look and drive the way I want it to. I have a whole lot more coming up on this car, so make sure you subscribe and get notified on updates. Lots of cool aesthetic upgrades coming up in the next video, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.